Soccer's come straight back into ThomasG's base with the rest of his army, cancelled that the Tree of Life that was being rebuilt at the main, and is now just sort of picking out loads of Moonwells. And I assume he has a TB on his Shadow Hunter. Yeah, he does. And so he will just be able to get out of there when he needs to. And meanwhile, it looks like Gab have realised that they just can't play this hit and run. They don't have the economy to buy lots and lots more TPs, and whereas We Made Fox do, and so they're just going to have to go for a push. And I think they should have gone for this a while back. But actually, a Headhunter out for Soccer, that's a bit unusual. But I think this is the right choice by Gab, even if it is a bit late. 3-0 upgrades on those Fiends, and still 1-0 upgrades on the Huntresses. He should really get that armor upgrade. But Soccer actually in his base, but decides to TP out to this other expansion. So clearly, maybe he's decided he's just can't win this battle. And Moon with is just sort of a couple of Dryads, and Naga just picking off these buildings around the edges of Moon's base, and actually a couple of Wisps there. But Soccer's base just being completely destroyed at this point. And less so, I think, for ThomasG and Gab, just sort of this minor attack, but it's mostly piercing damage anyways. This is where the real threat lies. The 2-2 upgraded Raiders. It looks like the rest of the space is just going to go down now. There's no way to TP in. This Tree of Life's attempt's going to be cancelled. It was almost pointless to build it at all, I imagine. They must have known what was coming. But Gab now, obviously with a really strong army here, 80 food for Ent, and let's take a look. Only 14 for ThomasG, so 100-ish food compared to 61 plus 69. Yeah, so a lot more food for We Made Fox. Obviously, these expansions really have paid off, and Moon, this expansion is now being rebuilt, so there's going to be a huge number of TPs and gold mine for Moon this game, I imagine. Bear is now out for Moon as well. Obviously, we saw his tier 3 upgrading before, and 2-2 bears as well. Those are going to be very nice against the Fiends. But there's another expansion being killed here for Moon. Moon will want to get a detonate on all these heroes about, and he does by the looks of it. But that is another expansion loss, and it's going to be a bit of a problem. Only 1100 gold left in this base, and so not really worth rebuilding a Tree of Life. I mean, technically it is, but just the threat of it being cancelled means you can probably spend your economy better elsewhere. And level 4, almost level 4 and a bit on the Demon Hunter compared to, let's see, 4 on the Death Knight, 4-4-2 for Undead, and is it 4 on the Priestess of the Moon? Yeah, it is 4 on the Priestess of the Moon. Some really nice items actually on them as well. Moon's base now under attack as well, and I think this is when William Fox is going to have to sort of face the facts and realize that they have to attack at this point. There's not really much more they can stall and just let their economies win this game. They're just going to have to attack at this point. Obviously, stacking up the auras like Bear, like Roar, and everything, trying to get all their units together. Moon keeping the rest of his bears on this side. Obviously, he doesn't want to run them through the army, and keeping his Goblin Shredder there. He turned his bear into his Druid Claw into bear form as well, so I imagine he's going to be going in now. And Speed Scroll being used, and I think the Coda Beast is going to try and eat some units. It eats an Abomination, that's a very nice thing to eat. And the attack is now underway, and this is probably going to be the final attack. Lots of Bat Riders coming in, but all being webbed immediately. That was a big problem that I think Soccer should have come in from a different angle, but not a huge problem there. This Zeppelin being entangled webbed as well, and looks like Ent's gonna have to TP out, and I imagine ThomasG has to follow because obviously he doesn't want to be fighting 2 versus 1. So a very nice turnaround here from We Made Fox. Level 5 on the Demon Hunter now. Actually some pretty decent levels, 5, 4, 4, 4. That's very nice for them, and I think they are gonna just push at this point. Maybe try and set up some more expansions, but I think at this point they're really best just to push. Soccer actually still finding loads of lumber. Didn't he put up a Spirit Lodge? And so yeah, he does have loads of Spirit Walkers, especially and Adept trained ones as well. I'm surprised he isn't bringing in those peons. I guess it just makes less of a difference in 2 versus 2. But he does have 900 lumber and no gold source. And Moon actually has lots of lumber as well. He really should bring in those peons. But meanwhile, Moon being really cheeky here and actually taking the natural expo for Gab, and so that's going to be just sort of a further advantage for them. And what they're really, and obviously fighting in an undead space is always hard, but that's what We Made Fox is going to have to do here. They're moving in, loads of burrowed fiends come up and web all those Bat Riders immediately. That's very nice, and those Bat Riders will be taken out quickly, but I don't think it's going to be enough. The Lich being chased around by the Blade Master does buy a healing potion. Meanwhile, all these bears here from Moon just being able to sort of tank so much damage, and there's lots of towers, and there's the GG from ThomasG, and I imagine we'll see Ent leaving any second now. So that's a very nice game one. In case you don't know how this works, actually, there's going to be 7 games. I can't believe that was just one. 7 games, 2 versus 2, 2, and then 4 1 versus 1 games, but the 1 versus 1 games are sort of a best of 2. It's a really odd system, and in the knockouts, at least in the event of a tie at this point, so a 3-3 tie, it'll go to an ace match between 1 versus 1 match between selected players from each team. But since we're just in the preliminary games now, it's all 7, so we will be seeing the ace match as well. So okay, I'll see you in the next 2 versus 2 game. Okay, folks, we're back for the game 2 of the 2 versus 2, and as I said before, this is a best of 2, not a best of 3. So it isn't actually. It could even if Gab win now, this will be the end of the 2 versus 2, and we'll go to the 1 versus 1 afterwards. And obviously that's gonna be Moon and Soccer versus ThomasG and Nicker, not Ent. And so we're gonna just be having 4 elf mirrors, which is really crazy. But I guess it's not too bad because I quite enjoy elf mirrors at least. And as we can see, Gab spawning on the bottom side here, and the same going for the same races at least for We Made Fox and Gab. Obviously, Soccer not switching back to Elf, which would be viable. I mean, you can go things like Priestess of the Moon, Demon Hunter, or Priestess of the Moon, Keeper of the Grove, stuff like that. It's all there's really a lot of options with Elf, and you can do sort of either mass huntresses or a mixture of things. And Moon putting up another Ancient of War outside on ThomasG's base here. I'm surprised he didn't actually put it in here. Maybe would have been attacked by the Tree of Life. But okay, let's get this game resumed. Oops. But Huntress, obviously a Huntress build for ThomasG, and it looks like he is going for Priestess of the Moon as well, going Aura first again, and a Fiend build for Ent, and so that's not surprising at all. And Keeper of the Grove first for Moon. That's very interesting. Obviously, Keeper of the Grove combined with Blade Master works very well, because you just need to hold your enemy's hero in place with the entangling root, and then the Blade Master can just beat away at it. And it works really well against human who go Archmage. And really, I imagine it's going to work quite well in this situation, because, well, for a couple of reasons. It's going to work well against Fiends, because you can just entangle them and then beat down with Huntresses. And it's going to work well versus Death Knight, because it's an intelligence hero. And yeah, here we go. Here, first ensnare, or first entangle, and then all Soccer needs to do is just beat down on it. And ThomasG does bring in a wisp. I think he would have detonated if he could, but he knew it was too late. And Soccer actually just picks off the wisp as well to add insult to injury. And you can see sort of really similar to what was happening in the first game, in that Moon's bringing in his Ancient of War, and lots of excuse me. Sorry. Lots of skeletons being brought in as well, and Moon's going to need to make sure that this Ancient of War is always beating down on this Moonwell, but also sort of staying within range of some trees if some heavy focus does come in. And Moon hasn't yet used a second entangle, but when we do, I imagine what we're going to see. Oh, a very nice dodge there of a coil by Moon. Obviously, if you get coiled and you have your Wisp is sub 100 hit points, it'll die, but by building a Ancient of Wonders, generally, you can dodge that coil, and that's exactly what Moon did there. And in the Ancient of War, actually, Moon's playing with it quite offensively. I guess what he's been trying to do is entangle a wisp, or a Crypt Fiend near the Ancient of War, and then just beat down with the Ancient of War, which would just do massive damage to it. And Keeper of the Grove, able to salve up, which is very nice for him, because obviously very low hit point unit. And another Fiend getting focused down here gets coiled. But I think this one's going to be a lot harder, even though Soccer does now have a Grunt in. It's going to be a lot harder, and I think Moon must be teching. I haven't actually checked. Oh no, second Ancient of War is going up, but it's just quite late, and I haven't seen any Huntresses for him, but I guess they must be on their way. And Ancient of War now rooted, and actually this is really careless by ThomasG. He should just be hitting this from range, and it looks like his units were moving back in just to try and do a bit more damage to that Ancient of War, because otherwise it can really just sort of keep on attacking you. throughout the game, and that can get really expensive and really annoying. And yeah, that is what he's doing here. And meanwhile, Moon is obviously staying at tier 1 and going for Huntresses, whereas Soccer is obviously teching. You can have a really effective... Actually, there's a couple times with Elfork where you can have a really effective attack. This Entangle Crypt Fiend, I think, will go down. And although Soccer needs to be careful with his Blade Master with only 110 hit points, one hit getting him down to 103, but obviously it's not even close enough for a coil because of hero or spell damage reduction. And looks like this Blade Master will get away, but with Elf Orc, what you can do is you can go lots of Huntresses and then get Raiders and Spirit Walkers, really a standard Orc army. And the Spirit linked Huntresses combined with the focusing that you can get from the Raiders just is so powerful. And then